Friends, I found out from a subscriber last week that the LT25 Fender Mustang has had a firmware update, which allows you to use Fender Tone software, which I'm very happy to find this out. And I thought what I'd do is just a quick little video to show you how easy it is now. Okay, let me say this. The sounds from this little amp, I put out a popular video about it months back when I first got the amp. And I love the amp, except that there was no way really to edit it on your computer. You had to scroll through, which was not very cumbersome. You had to scroll through the little menus on the amp, and you had to go in and you had to find the various different stomp pedals or modulations or reverbs or delays. And it was a little bit time consuming, but I just love a very good graphic interface, and that's what you've got now with the Fender Tone. I just want to show you a little bit about what I've been doing. I've been going back, taking a lot of the presets and tweaking those to make them a little bit better for me. The tone's more the way I want the tone to be. Adding noise gates for certain guitars, and changing up a little bit of the amp settings to get a little bit thicker tone maybe, or to get just a little bit brighter or cleaner tone on some settings. Some of them are usable. They're mostly, the presets are there just for you to learn from, right? I want to show you here, I've got this screen recording here at this point. I'm going to page up through, you had 30, I think it was 30 different amps, come on, try to say models or whatever, or really sound setups or amp models with effects added to them. And so you see here, I've gotten various ones that I've changed. I got a Tony Hot Telly here. Some of these are the same ones, but now you got up to 60. I'm going to scroll forward. You can see you got 60 places in here to store your presets, the sounds that you want. So you can see I've only done a few so far. I've done a tweed clean that I like a lot. I've got my basement with slight overdrive. I've got my slightly dirty here. My funk wah, which has one of the filters, a little wah filter, auto filter, and I got me a dirty flange, slight flange on there. I kind of like a lot of people don't use the flange settings. Me coming from out of the 70s and all, I do like flangers and phasers, particularly on certain kinds of music that I like. So I'll show you a few presets I've done, and I'll make a new one. First, let me go back at the top here, the Fender Clean. So what I've done is I've changed it up a little bit. Let me go on to Fender Clean here, and you'll see I do have the gate. I put the gate on there because I just like to have it gated a little. Now I'm playing with a humbucking pickup guitar, an Ibanez AS73, and so I'm not having any problem. When I play with my Stratocasters, my Telecasters have single coil pickups, I do get a bit of 60 cycle hum or whatever, and so I put the metal gate on there, which does a great job. This is a killer noise gate, and I usually put it at a low setting like that. And most of my guitars, I don't even need it probably. If I were to turn this off right now, I can click on this. Oh, you can hear it a little bit. Can you hear that? But see, total quiet when I turn it on. But you can push these buttons just like you would with any amp or any pedal that you would have. Nice sound. So I'm going to go out of that. You got different places where you can go back and forth between the amp settings. You can either go over here and you can click on this right here and pull up the different settings, or you can go over here if you're in one of them. Like this is the what's called the Silky Solo, and I've changed it. I added the gate to it. I took I think the preset came with a green type screamer, tube screamer model, and it sounded really good, except that it was quite noisy with the single coil pickups. So I put the metal gate on, took that off, and I just tweaked the sound on this supersonic, the gain a little bit, just to go up a little bit hotter. So now I've got the solo. So now I have have the silky solo that is quieter for the single coil pickups. Still gives me the same sort of sound. And I did thicken up the sound a little bit. I think I hit a little bit more mids and a little more bass and took a little bit of treble, rolled it off on this sound. So this is, now it's called Tony's Solo, as you can see up top up here. But you can go through these things just by clicking these buttons over here, see? So there's the blues lead. I've not done anything. So let's look at this blues lead for a second, though. Let's go back to that. So as you can hear, I'm trying to leave that so you can hear it. So I've got this tube screamer here, and this is making a little noise, even with the humbucking pickups. And let's say that I do like that noise gate in here, and I don't really need this blues drive that they've given me. I can click on this now. I can go here. I can actually say swap effect. Go to swap effect up here. And I'm going to go over to that metal gate. I can already hear it's done what I want it to do, but I don't need to go that. That's the threshold. I usually go to right about here. Something like that. And now I should have my sound. So now I've got that, and if I want it to be a little hotter, I can do what was being done by the stomp box, or I could just have my own stomp box. If you've got a, there are so many tube screamer emulators out there, but I just typically kind of like amp gain. So I might up this amp gain just a little bit here. And now I've got a sound that I like. And if I want to save that sound, all I have to do now is click save. And I can do either a save or save as. I'm going to keep on calling it Blues Lead 1, and I'll say save. Let's just jump forward to some of the sounds. So if you want to navigate quickly over there, let's go to this right here. And I'm going to come up here. Here's some of the sounds that I've programmed myself. Here's my Tweed Clean that I like. And I have got a compressor on here. Now, so this one, I don't mind if it's a little bit noisy. I have specific needs that I want for this one, so I've left the compressor. Unfortunately, you can't put a compressor on after the noise gate because it won't let you do both of them. In other words, I can't put the compressor over to this mod over here, which, you know, it kind of makes me think maybe I need to get a noise gate if I want to eliminate some of this hum. This is not bad, though. Here is my Bassman with my slide overdrive that I like. Again, check this one out. That MYTHIC drive that you got there just doesn't have a whole lot of noise to it. Let's go here and add a little bit more to this. Let's do that gain up just a little. Pretty cool. So I'm maybe going to leave a little bit more of that MYTHIC drive on there. Let's save that and hit save. Now here again, let's make a totally new preset here. So I'm going to go back over and click here. And of course, if you want to hear my slightly dirty, I put a little bit of a delay and large hall on this one. A little bit of slap. And then I've got my Firmware clean here a little bit. here's my dirty flange. Pretty cool. That is a kind of a noisy one. Let's start with a new one though. Let's say I wanted to make a new one. I would just go to one of these empty slots here. And first off, yeah, this studio preamp is super clean. This is the one that just comes straight out. You know, this is the plain old studio preamp, which is what you might just have in a studio. Not much character to it, not much gain or anything. But if you want to swap this amp out, that's here again a very easy thing to do. You just double click on here, swap out the amp. And let's go to something kind of cool, and let's go to maybe this 90s rock here first. Let's go 80s rock. Let's get us I guess maybe a plexi type sound or something here. Let's say done. It's definitely a Marshall of some sort. Looks like the gain's already set wide open. Not bad. I'm going to go up with the volume a little. So you've got total control here. If I do want, listen, not very noisy, just using that right there. This might be a good one. I might want to put a mod of some sort on it. Maybe I want to put tremolo or something on this. Let's say, okay. What have I got? Already pretty sweet sound. If I want to change my level, make the speed a little higher. I don't even know if I need any kind of pre on this. If I wanted to add something I could, but I don't see anything much here that I think I would need. 5-band EQ, not particularly. Big fuzz, don't need any fuzzes I don't think, or distortions. I don't need anything really to go with that Marshall, so I think I'm probably going to leave this blank. And it doesn't hurt to do that, so I'm going to say done on this. Let's look, maybe we do want some delay though. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a regular delay, say okay. And we'll bring this level back a bit. I can already tell this feedback's going to need to come down some. And the time maybe this much. Maybe the tone up just a little bit. Let's see what we got here. I like it. That's a pretty cool sound right there, folks. If I wanted to add maybe a reverb of some sort, I tend to like plates a lot. Say okay. Let's see what this is going to sound like here. Kind of like that even better. So let's say I want to save this. I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to say save as on this one. And let's call this, what do we call this? Maybe dirty trim, D-I-R-T, T-R-E-M, delay. And I'll say, okay, cool. And so now I've got a cool name that appears on my amp over here too. So it shows up on the amp, so I don't have to, when I go, I can make all these presets, and I can monitor what it is here without having to have the computer program. So this is pretty sweet. This is what I've been looking for, and it's also inspiring me to make better sounds with this little amp, which is a super versatile amp. I just didn't know from time to time whether I had the time to put into it what I wanted to. Now I'm finding I do have the time to do that. And so I'm going to like really load this thing up with tones that I would use day in, day out when I'm recording. Peace to all who watch. Subscribe to the channel if you like, and send me any questions that you might have about this amp, the LT25 Mustang. It's super loud. It's got some great sounds in it. It packs a nice little punch for like $160 or less. Can't hardly beat it. Again, folks, thanks for watching.